Hi, folks, and welcome to their Sunday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt, by myself again. Benjamin's doing well. His show's going well. In fact, when he gets done, he's already agreed to come on the show and share for us his first experience directing a show, which I'm sure everyone's going to be excited to see. But until then, I'm doing it solo. And everyone loved last week's podcast, so thank you for that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. Someone did make a suggestion that I talk about video rental store memories or something like that. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. But I'd basically done that before. I think it was last year. Wes and I covered the subject of video stores, and our memories of them and what they are now, and could one still continue, and if so, how? I don't remember the title of the podcast, but I know that we did that, so check that one out. It was done last year. For this one, though, I didn't want to repeat those stories, and so I didn't know what to do. And then someone made a suggestion, because we had talked about our top favorite holidays, years ago on this podcast, and then I want to say we did least favorite, but I don't see them. I can't find that podcast, so maybe we never did. But afterwards, I had started talking about my best and worst memories of each holiday. And while talking to someone, they suggested that the stories were kind of funny and that I should do that. So I'm going to do that one. That's what we're going to do. This may be a part 1, part 2, I bet, because I don't know if I can tell that many stories in under 30 minutes, but we'll see. Let's just start with New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, most likely. I used to throw a big New Year's Eve party every other year when I was single. I didn't do it every year because I didn't want to stay up all night. It was all night. The party didn't end till 6 in the morning. Now, I'm not lying. But I'd do it every other year. I'd have one. And I remember there were these other girls, two sisters, that hated when I threw my party because no one came to their party. They wanted to be the big New Year's party, every year that people went to. And they'd even say, hey, Matt, let's combine parties. Let's bring your party to our house. Because they never wanted to come to my apartment. And I was like, no, y'all have your own party because, there's two different crowds here. And my crowd's kind of rowdier. We'll just do separate parties. I didn't mind. It wasn't a competition to me. In fact, it just kind of started like, I'm just going to get a few friends over. But then, whoever has the most rowdiest fun party usually gets the most guests. And it'd been big over the years. We'd done different things. I can't remember what that big running pad video game was a long time ago that was popular back in the day. You used to do dance steps on it and stuff. I remember we did Monkey Ball one year. There's always video games being played. There was always other games, just hilarity, chairs, floor to sit on, outside to hang out with. And the biggest one I ever had, and this was my best one, and it was me. I was in an apartment. I don't remember if I was by myself. I want to say I had a roommate. I had to have had a roommate, but I don't recall who. And it was the biggest party I'd ever thrown. It was by accident because everyone said, hey, can I bring friends? I said, absolutely. People started showing up. I didn't know who they were. I had no idea. Someone that I became friends with later on, I first met her when she showed up to my party with bottles of liquor saying, let's party. And I was like, everyone looked at me, they said, who's that? And I went, I have no idea. I have no idea who some of these people are. And it was so big. I opened up all the rooms, standing room. There were people hanging out in the hallway because there's no other place to hang out. Now, of course, this is dead of winter. I had the doors open. I had the windows open because it was hot inside. At first I had the heater on, then I turned the heater off. Then I started opening up the doors and windows. And I think and so I just trying to cool the place down as much as I could because it was warm. And then a lot of people just started hanging outside. And they were all in the parking lot too. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get evicted. I really thought that because I was like, we're making so much noise. There's so many people here. So many people from out of town visited. I don't know what was going on at that time, but there's just a ton of people in town. And I remember there was not a fight, but a big argument. It may have gotten heated. And two good friends of mine split. And one of them, they were both best friends of mine, but one of them got really offended by my other friend and decided not to talk to me ever again. And I like I said, to this day, he hasn't spoken to me. And I'm sad about that because I was in his wedding. Well, I say he's never spoken to me. I did see him one other time, but and I invited him to be in my wedding because I consider him still a good friend. But it's just whatever and I still don't know. No one tells me. I said, well, your friend was acting out and being all rude and everything. Okay, he's my friend, but I don't that doesn't mean I support whatever he said or did. I still to this day, no one tells me. And when I asked my buddy, I said, what did you do? He went, nothing. That guy was an ass. I was like, okay, whatever. No one wants to tell me the straight story. But anyway, so I lost a friend over that because he was upset that my friend was being mean to him. I don't see how that's my deal. I don't know. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. But the next day, landlady comes up to me and she says, hey, she said, hey, I want to talk to you about your party last night. I was thinking, I'm so sorry. She was like, I need to apologize to you. I was like, what? She went, my son and all his friends hung out. And she said, I really appreciate y'all having him over. She said, I told him I didn't know y'all, but he wanted to go. And so I let him go. And thank you for letting him stay. He said he had a great time. And I'm like, oh, sure. And I was like, what? I didn't even know he was there because I didn't know half the people there. It was BYOB because I don't drink. There was so much beer and liquor. So much. I had stacks of cases of it in my kitchen. And here's the irony. I don't drink any of it. So I had tons of liquor, bottles of liquor, tons of cases of beer. I threw 2 other parties and said, drink as much as you want. Because I was not going to drink it. And people were like, whoa, can I have this stuff? Matt, is it all right if I drink that? I said, guys, it's not mine. It was left here from the party. So please drink it. And I remember it took me 2 parties, huge parties, to have them drink the rest of that alcohol because I wasn't going to drink it. But still, to this day, best New Year's Eve. Okay, what was the worst? Well, obviously the day after. I had to clean up all day, New Year's Day, and I was pissed. Usually it took me a couple hours to clean up or that whole morning. But at 6 in the morning, everyone left. I slept for 4 hours because I thought, from 10 to 12, I'll clean this mother up. And I was there till 7 o'clock at night cleaning. Oh, I was pissed. Because everywhere and everything needed to be cleaned. And you can't tell because of my house now, but I was a neat freak back then. I had to keep my apartment nice. It wasn't perfect, but it was clean. And so I cleaned up. I hated it. Now, that's not fair. Let me go to New Year's Eve. A New Year's Eve that was kind of lame, I guess. Even though I don't regret it. It was just lame. Me and my wife, I think my wife was pregnant. It was 2018, I think, with the new twins. She was tired. I was worn out. We willed ourselves to stay up till midnight and then went straight to bed. Because we were so tired. So that'd be the most lame one, maybe. Usually these days, I spend New Year's with my parents, and there's not much. It's just us and them now, and it's nice. I don't mind it. Maybe mom and dad do. They don't want to stay up that late. But I don't mind it. It's fine. Next holiday, major holiday, Valentine's Day. I've only had one good Valentine's Day that I can think of. It was decades ago, when me and my roommates, no one had any girlfriends, and we threw a singles party. And it was just fun. And I remember turning to someone and saying, this is the best time I've ever had for Valentine's Day in my entire life. And I said, we need to do this every year. But of course, both of them got girlfriends the next year. And I want to say, Bruce always had a girlfriend, but maybe he didn't. Maybe he was still single at this point. I can't remember, but I know Roger didn't. But we had a nice singles party. I had a lot of fun. Worst Valentine's, probably when I had this girlfriend who I found out was only with me. She got with me. She was super cute, and everyone was shocked that she got with me. In fact, Bruce was even placing bets that she'd break up with me soon. And which she did, because they knew that she had attached to me on Thanksgiving, and then rode me out as a boyfriend until Valentine's Day, February 15th. She broke up with me, and that's the whole. I don't want to be alone for the holidays. I want someone to be there around Christmas season, Christmas to get me a present, New Year's Eve. I want someone there for Valentine's Day, and then I dump them February 15th because I need to look for something better. I just didn't want to be alone through those holidays. And got it right. In fact, they paid, everyone exchanged money right in front of me February 15th. And I knew something was off on the 14th anyway, because I think she was already seeing other people, and I called her. Let me see, it was like 2 other guys she was kind of dating or flirting with, one at work and one at her college, which was half an hour away from mine. And actually, Wes was involved. Holy cow. Wes, wow, Bruce and Wes, because I've known them both for decades. They were both involved in this. Bruce had money down. Wes didn't know about the bet, but I was working with him at the time, and this is how we found out. I was working Valentine's Day, and she said she was working that night. And she was working at waitress at a restaurant, so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You make a ton of money there, so go for it. We'll just go out, the next night. And I didn't want to go out Valentine's night anyway because it's always swamped. And but I can't remember where she worked. I want to say a restaurant called Logan's. Anyway, the manager came in, one of the night shift managers, whatever, and he bought from our card shop. And I remember Wes was with me too. I don't know if Wes remembers this story, but he was talking about this girl that he totally made out with, and that they're going out later on tonight. He's going to hook up with her. And I'm like, really? And then he told me where he works. I was like, huh? And I was thinking, wow, I still didn't know. I was like, wow, I can't wait to, ask my girlfriend who this girl is. And then he says her name, and it's my girlfriend. And I just kind of went, huh? Yeah, I wasn't mad because I knew this guy didn't know. But then Wes turns to me, classic Wes, and he goes, Cuckoo, isn't that your girlfriend? And I went, not anymore. And the guy just like totally blew, oh, dude, she didn't tell me she had a boyfriend. I didn't know. I said, no. I'm not mad at you. You obviously didn't know, or you wouldn't have come up, no moron would come here and tell me that. And I went to go see her Valentine's Day to break up with her because I knew that she wasn't working that night. He said she wasn't working that night. She had gotten off. I was like, well, if she wasn't working, then why did she tell me she was? So I went to her dorm room, rung the doorbell, and they said, she's not here. She's out with her boyfriend. And I went, who? And her roommate named another guy. And I was like, shut up. So there were me and 2 other guys she was kind of leading on, one at work, one at her school, and me 30 minutes away. And of course she found out when her roommate came in that she was busted. And so we broke it off the next morning officially, but that Valentine's was just horrible. But sad story, and the thing is, I think she married that guy from Ruston. Anyway, sad story. Usually you hate people like that forever, and you wish everything bad would happen to him. Well, something very bad happened to her. Sorry to bring this down, but yeah, just 2 years ago, I didn't keep up with her life. I went to her wedding to show that there was no hard feelings, that I don't, because at that point, I think I'd gotten to the point, I can't remember, it was somewhere in between there, I wanted to stop holding grudges. I was just tired of the whole holding grudges thing. So just to show, support, I went to the wedding. Now, she didn't speak to me at all. Both of them didn't. They just ignored me. I was like, all right, well, you saw me. I'm here. I stayed for the reception so you can make sure to see that I didn't just show up and leave. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm hanging out with the other friends, and then we move on. I wasn't going to speak to her, hang out with her again. That was fine. Then I found out that her husband left her. Her kids didn't live with her, so they lived with her husband. She was living alone. And in 2021, she died in a house fire. So yeah, awful thing. But the thing is, though, I didn't know what had become of her. Everyone started sending me texts, sending me the article, telling me that she had passed away because they knew that we dated for like a very short time. And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, wait a minute, where's her husband and kids? And they're like, oh no, they left her a long time ago. She was living by herself. She kind of, and I was like, oh my gosh. So really sad ending. And I know you never want that. Even with people I really hate, I wouldn't want them to pass away that way. So it was very sad, but I didn't know anything would happen to her. And I'm not saying karma. I'm not saying anything like that because that's just heartless. But sad ending. And I kind of wish, we may have stayed in touch, now, because I do feel sad for her. But either way, she was a little bit of a minx there back in the day, and oh well. R.I.P., as they say. So moving on. That was kind of depressing now. St. Patty's Day. Oh, folks, St. Patty's Day, if you don't know this, used to be my number 3 solid Solid favorite holiday. Behind Thanksgiving and Christmas, I looked forward to and loved St. Patty's Day. There was a restaurant here called Bennigan's. I would order a meal at Bennigan's, and then I'd sit there, order desserts and appetizers for the rest of the night, keeping my little booth, and then having people join me and eat or drink or whatever, and just hanging out all through that. They had a live band. I loved everything on the menu at Bennigan's, and I loved those days. I think it was like for 2 years straight I did that. And I mean, I counted down the days. Well, after New Year's Eve happened, my sights were set on St. Patty's Day because I knew that was going to be a great holiday. And I may have had like 1 year after that, I had an okay St. Patty's Day, but the best times were at Bennigan's. Oh, so much fun because I'm a social butterfly, so I love hanging out with everyone. Worst one is anything now. I don't even wear green these days. I don't care anymore. St. Patty's Day comes and goes. I don't even acknowledge it. Not that I hate it. It's just a wasteful holiday. What could make it better? Nothing. Really, nothing. Because man, oh man, the good old Bennigan's days. I wouldn't go out to a restaurant. There's a little Irish pub here that I cannot stand. I hate those people so much. I'll never go there. But even if it was a cool place to hang out, I wouldn't go anyway because I just don't feel like going out to bars and restaurants and anything like that. I wish there was something fun to do on St. Patty's Day, but there's not. So basically everyone is my word. Now that I don't even wear green. I used to wear green, and then I thought, what's the point? And a couple years ago, it's maybe 3-4 years ago, I don't even wear green anymore. I don't care. I just don't care. And now, I would try a Shamrock Shake. I heard they brought it back last year, and I was kind of bummed I didn't get one because I didn't know about it after it was over. But there's no joy in Mudville when it comes to the St. Patty's Day. All right, so moving on. Easter. To be fair, I've never had a bad Easter. I can't think of one. Easter is Easter. We have a nice Easter Sunday dinner and everything. Oh, no, I do have a bad one now that I think about that. Okay, let me get to my good one, though. I never was a part of many Easter egg hunts as a kid. I was 13 when I attended my first Easter egg hunt, and I was told we were too old. 12 years old was the oldest. So 13-year-olds and higher could hide the eggs. So I got to watch them collect eggs. That was okay, but I never was a part of an Easter egg hunt. When we were little, my mom gave us an Easter egg hunt, me and my brothers, where we had to find these clues all around, inside, outside the house, and then we ended up in 3 different areas where we uncovered. I remember mine was in the bathtub. It was a dry bathtub, too. It was the Kenner Luke lightsaber. The giant Luke's lightsaber, the handheld one for kids that made the swooshing sound. My brothers got Darth Vader's, so I was the only one with the green one, and I was ecstatic. Best Easter ever. Best Easter ever. Mom usually always gave us a chocolate bunny, which she did as well, but I didn't care. She got me a lightsaber for Easter. Best Easter ever. Worst Easter, I do remember it now. Our church. It's the last year we spent at our old church. Our church was getting packed. We had only 300 seats. We had like 350 people that would show up. So we were packing people in back rows on folding chairs down the aisle. In the foyer, there was a few people who'd sit in folding chairs, and then downstairs, which no one wanted to be downstairs in the basement, but they set up a TV and even a little communal place too, because there was a lot of people downstairs. Well, for Easter Sunday, of course, that's like the Super Bowl of church worship services, everyone showed up. So instead of there being 350 people, there's 450. There's not even room downstairs this year, because usually there's always room in the basement where no one wants to be. There's nothing wrong with the basement. You just felt like you were disconnected from everyone. And I remember I got there super early because I told my wife, I said, I am getting in a pew. I am not going to sit in a row or stand or whatever. And so we did, and we got enough room, and we had enough because we made sure we all had elbow room. And then they made the announcement, everyone squish in, and they made everyone squish in to fit other people. I sat there cramped the entire time. I was miserable and pissed off the entire service. I hated it. So I remember that last Easter Sunday probably would have been my worst there. So I did have a bad Easter. Now that me thinks it. Okay? But anyway, moving forward. Yeah, I'm going to get to about half of these, and then we'll do the other half next podcast. Memorial Day. Yes, Memorial Day is a big day. In fact, it was one of the biggest holidays I used to celebrate. I celebrated New Year's Eve every other year. And then my other 2 big days that I celebrate, that I had the biggest parties on, were Memorial Day and Labor Day. Because I figured no one else was doing anything on those days. If I did it, I'd have the only party in town, and I was right. Now, every so often, Memorial Day falls on my birthday. And this particular year, I recall, it did. And I remember, it was the absolute best Memorial Day ever. I had a ton of friends over there, a ton of people in town for a conference that stayed for Memorial. Instead of going home, traveling home that day, they stayed for my birthday. And we did hamburgers, hot dogs, we grilled. I asked the landlady if we could use the pool. I said, look, I'm having a birthday party, and I'd like for my people to use the pool. Is that all right? Because we're going to have more than 10. She went, that's fine. Well, I didn't realize we were going to have 50. Yes, 50. We had 50 people show up. And we swapped the pool. The landlady came out and talked to me. She says, look, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you meant there were going to be this many people. No, I think I didn't say 10. I said, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of people. Is that all right? She said, yes. And she went, okay, I didn't realize there's going to be this many. I need to ask y'all to leave so other people can use the pool. I said, no, absolutely. I'm so sorry. Thanks for letting us stay. I couldn't fit everyone inside, and so they basically stayed outside in the courtyard, and we had the best time. The best time. My roommate had heard, it was Stephen, who's been on Prince of the Universe. Stephen had heard of my elaborate parties. He wanted to be a part of them. And I told him I was done with that, but he brought it back. He said, dude, it's your birthday. It's Memorial Day. You always celebrate Memorial Day. I was like, true, that is, I do. All right, let's do it. And it was one of the big ones. He went, I said, well, was it good? He went, just as good, as everyone told me, just as good as I've always heard. Because he was a younger kid back then. We didn't really hang out that much. And man, it was a great time. I remember a lot of people were from out of town who came, and it was just, and they sang happy birthday to me. No one got me birthday presents. You don't need to. I haven't gotten a birthday present in like 6 years now. But my wife keeps saying, it's in the mail. It's in the mail. Or she says, what is it? This year she said, yeah, we'll go out and get your birthday present later on next week. I'm still waiting for one that was in the mail 6 years ago. But it's okay. I never get birthday presents. I think the only person that gives me a birthday present now is my mom. And it's usually like some kooky socks. That's fine. I don't care. Usually I want a gift card. And it used to be whenever I'd say what I want, I was guaranteed not to get it from my wife. If my wife had asked for a list and make sure that was not anything I got on my list. It was so weird. She went, well, I wanted it to be a surprise. I mean, eBay gift card. eBay gift card. That's what I want. There's so many things that are, games that are out of print and stuff that I want that's kind of on eBay, and I could use eBay gift cards all day. Amazon, I get plenty of points on my Amazon card, so I don't really need Amazon gift cards anymore. I'll take them, but I could always use Amazon gift cards. But eBay is what I want now. But anyway, no one gets me, and that's fine. I don't care. My birthday's not really a big deal anymore. I mean, it's kind of weird because I'm saying. Because I don't know. After a while, can any birthday beat what you had as a kid? I mean, if I think about it, probably my best birthday was when I was a kid. Maybe. I don't know. That Memorial Day was really awesome. But I was like, 20s, young 20s, mid 20s maybe. So that may have been my best birthday. Other than that, not to say my birthdays suck, I just don't celebrate them that much. I don't tell anyone at work. I just don't want to make a big deal of it because, I don't want to make a big deal and expect, it's my birthday, it should be a special day. And it never is. It never is. Now, sometimes I get to play board games on my birthday. And that was fun. In fact, this year we did play board games on my birthday. No one knew until my nephew on the phone in front of everyone said happy birthday to me. And everyone looked at me like, oh, it's your birthday. I was like, yeah. But I didn't want anyone bringing presents or thinking they had to do something because, I fed them. I bought food for everyone and desserts and stuff. I mean, I just want to have fun on my birthday, and I don't want to make it too big because I want to think like, oh, this is my birthday. It has to be big, and then being disappointed at the end. No, just make it a regular day that you had fun on. That's really all you need. Worst Memorial Day had to have been, I can't remember when it was, 2 years ago maybe or so. There was one Memorial Day. Usually Memorial Day is the day I get to play board games, and I did not. I did not get to play board games. I remember one Memorial Day, my wife wanted to do something. I had to watch the kids, and I was just bummed. I can't remember what was going on, but no one could play board games with me that day. Sometimes we do a Twilight Imperium day, and we couldn't. It's super bummed. I really wanted that one. But anyway, all right, so Moving on. Oh, wow. I've really not got much more to say. Well, it doesn't matter. We can go ahead. We'll keep pushing ahead. Moving on to month 7 now. 4th of July. People who don't know this, I hate 4th of July. I despise 4th of July. It's just never fun. There is only one. My worst one? Pick one where I had to go to the levee outside in the dead heat of night, wait for fireworks that are not that special, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, and pouring down sweat. I despise 4th of July. I've only had only one good 4th of July in my entire life. And that was decades ago when oh yeah, I don't care. I didn't say her name. I guess no one cares. Erin Biedenhorn invited me to her party. Now, if no one knows this, but the Biedenhorns are a family who opened up the first bottling company for Coca-Cola in the South. In fact, they're still alive today. Big bottling company. The family still owns it, and they're super rich. They're the super rich people. I didn't know that. I just know that she was really awesome. She was starring in a show. I was a theater rat back then. So I didn't be a part of the show. I'd sneak in the balcony. Benjamin and I have talked about this. We used to sneak in the balcony and watch shows. I never paid for them. I hung out with them afterwards when they went out to eat and after practices, but I never participated. I was just a theater rat that kind of hang because I just thought the people were cool, but I didn't want to do theater. And I stayed away from cast parties. I did not invite myself. I knew that was for the cast, and I was happy that the cast had wrapped a party and they got to go to the cast party together. I did not expect an invite. In fact, I never showed. And this was the cast was wrapping up some show, and 4th of July was around the corner. She said, "I want everyone to come over 4th of July with my family's house, and we're having this big shindig." And everyone's like, "Yay!" Well, then she came up to me later on and says, "Hey, Matt, that includes you." And I went, "No, that's fine. I want this for the cast." And then she said, "No, I really want you to be a part of this." I mean, and anyone who doesn't know, I think for what I know, Erin had a big open heart, and actually for a couple of years, she remembered me like 6-7 years later. She saw me down at a LSU football game, and they have a big tailgate spread, like with all this good food. And she goes, and she remembered me, and she said, "How the heck are you?" And talked to me for a minute. She said, "Hey, come on in, get a plate, sit with us for a little while." I mean, it was just because I didn't know anyone, but she was so kind. They're always super kind. I don't know if the whole family, the family that I know, they've been super kind. But Erin was always super nice. So because of that, I said, well, I guess I'll show up. Man, oh man. I mean, they had 4th of July decorations. I mean, decorations everywhere. Red, white, and blue. Big ice barrels of all the Cokes you want. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that they were Coca-Cola bottling. I just didn't. I was just too stupid back then, I guess. And, hanging out with a ton of people. We never even watched the fireworks. We just stayed inside, nice air-conditioned room or guest house, and just had the best time. And I was like, boom. I remember telling someone, I said, you know what? I usually hate 4th of July, but this is the best time I've ever had for a 4th of July celebration. And to this day, still the best time. Second only, no. The runner-up, far distant runner-up, was 2 years ago when my wife and I got invited to a Vantage party. We had to sit up in, we got it's this company in town. We got to be on the top floor. There was a big buffet, and you could sit out on the patio, the balcony, and watch the fireworks. That was kind of cool. Mainly because of the free food, but it doesn't hold a candle to that Beanhorn party, man, for 4th of July. And that was just a really special moment. And like I said, I don't care about fireworks. I don't care about setting off fireworks or anything. As kids, maybe we did sparklers one time, but my family didn't really buy fireworks. We couldn't afford them back then either, but we didn't really fire off any fireworks. The only time we ever did was for New Year's, and that's if we were at someone else's party. If we were at someone else's party and they had fireworks, they'd give us some, like bottle rockets or whatnot, to fire off, and we'd do that. But we never had our own fireworks. So it wasn't a big deal going to the store and or the big tent and getting fireworks. I've never actually gone into a tent to buy fireworks. I don't think I've ever bought fireworks now that I think about it. So obviously not the biggest 4th of July fan. Like I said, the holiday can come and go, and I'd rather be inside, air conditioned, not watching fireworks. But my wife always likes to see it, so we're going to be stuck out there in the dead heat, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, pouring down sweat as fireworks go off in the sky. Sorry, that's just not for me. All right, so I'm going to stop there. In the chat, let me know. best and worst holidays of the ones I've talked about so far, New Year's Eve to 4th of July. I'm going to come back next week. I'm going to cover what? I guess start from Labor Day. Maybe I'll have some big Christmas, Thanksgiving, October stories. Who knows? Either way, I'll give you the rest of my stories next time on Saturday morning. It feels so good to do this by myself finally. Samoflange! Let it go, flange!